Hello everybody, welcome back to the dumbest modeling channel on all of YouTube, Pitstain Hobbies. I'm your space seaman, Ian. That sounded odd. Aren't that what they are on a starship? Whatever, okay. Existential crisis happening in my brain right now, but we're back on the beautiful Fanhome Enterprise D. However, even on the manual they show... Oh boy, I love it. We're going to be, obviously, idealizing some things. So yeah, either way, we got issue 13 here, which is build the whole panel, put some windows in it. We got some reflector bits for the nacelles that we will omit. Build more hull panel, reflector plates and windows, more hull panel, reflector plate and windows, and more hull panel with reflector plate and windows, lifeboat hatches, obviously. You know, like I said the last time, I'm just going to start knocking some stuff out, and then if I hit something where I'm like, oh, you got to know this, that's when I'm going to chime in. I think that's going to be the theme of this build. Now, I'm putting my manual aside because I have myenterprised.com up. That is my friend Todd's website, and it is absolutely the place to go to build your Enterprise D. And, you know, he's doing a bone stock build, and he's doing his special model remodel build, which is beyond my means and capabilities. But it's a great website to go, whether you're doing this just by the book, stock, out of the box, which is fine, or you're going to go cray-cray and totally go bonkers on this thing. What is this random sticker? Clear, got some clear decal paper there, just clear sticker. We don't need that. We've got our roll of bookbinding tape here. This is 3/8 inch. We've also got 3/8 inch electrical tape. We've got 1/2 inch electrical tape. And if we need it, we have our tulip black fabric paint. We've got our Uhu Patafix Pro Power. Black, basically just a very dark gray, almost black blue tack. And, where is it? Where's the new stuff? Where's the new special stuff? Here we go. Todd also keyed me onto this stuff, which is in my Amazon store. Tack Black. Now, apparently this is from the TV and movie film industry, and it is some very, very, very black and extremely sticky version of blue tack. It supposedly leaves no residue, but they all say that. So I got this stuff in case I really need something to stick super good, and I don't know, this box did not unbox as I was kind of thinking it would unbox. So that being said, I'm going to just start cranking away on all these hull panels and getting windows and lifeboats in them and get them taped down and screwed together and all that good stuff. And I'll be back randomly throughout the next couple issues. I'm probably going to get a couple done today at least. And show you the progress and show you any speed bumps or hiccups or gotchas. All right? There we go. That's it. It's not like the usual partwork video, you know, because this thing's got a lot of repetitive parts in it. So either way, I'll be right back. Oh boy. Okay, so we live streamed and completed up to issue. We completed issue 13 and 14, and the majority of our upper saucer is assembled. Now, there we go. Really pay attention to Todd's website, and yeah, definitely pay attention to the website. I would strongly recommend that. Now, there's a couple spots here where you do need to... so here's the thing. You get a couple of smaller EM screws. I've labeled them EM2. They have a smaller shoulder on them, and they're very handy for when they have to fit next to a rib. So, again, follow the myenterprised.com website there for clearancing things, because clearance needs clearance for all these panels to fit pretty well. That being said, everything went together pretty easily. If you notice, there's a second LED right here, and that is to light up our arboretum, which we soaked overnight in rubbing alcohol because this was all black. And now this will light up and I painted it clear blue Tamiya on the back, and I painted a couple of the window. Follow Todd's website. It's all on that My Enterprise D website. I guess the model remodel or the mod zone on the regular build, whichever you want to follow. I got all my little lifeboats deckled up, and everything lights up and everything works. I colored a couple windows here and there. Got a couple red lights on here. I'm just assuming Worf was in this room randomly. People move around the ship, who knows? So that aside, on to some more exciting things. Hey, why do we have the bridge back? Well, because we're gonna start issue 15 where we install the bridge. Before we install the bridge, once again, I'm gonna bling this sucker out just a tiny bit more. And if you can see those blinky lights, there's 8 of them. Warm white, itty bitty, tiny, like nano LEDs or whatever the hell Evans Designs calls them. I love Evans Designs. Their customer service is exemplary, their products are great, their prices are reasonable, and they do custom work. So this should be a 5 sync with a pause circuit. So 5 LEDs that blink in unison. I'm using the same type of thing for my Shuttle Titanium vintage build. It comes normally with 5 cool white LEDs. I told them I want 8 warm white LEDs, and I want 24-inch leads. So like they extended them. I have 24 inches lead here. I'm gonna probably slice this off right about yay, because this little controller chip is going to go into the secondary hull, and then all these. Now I don't need 8, I need 7. I ordered 8 just in case. But basically, these are the beacons. These are the nav beacons. So you have one on top and on the bottom of each nacelle. Then you have, that's 4. Then you have one on top of the bridge, one underneath the saucer. That's 6. And then you have one underneath the secondary hull, and that's 7. We have an 8th just in case we want to add an 8th. I don't think we need it. But yeah, that's that. And, you know, it's nice Kynar, Kninar, whatever wire. It's very thin, it's very nice. They're very reasonably priced, and you can customize things within their limits. So 8 is the max that this circuit can comfortably handle according to Evans Designs. That's fine with me. I only need 7 for this model. But yeah, that's how we're gonna have. So I'm doing kind of a very light version. I'm using mostly stock lighting, except for these beacons, and basically adding an LED here or there to light up some extra stuff, using stock LEDs, and using an extra little circuit board. Not the test board, but I have one of those other circuit boards for like the neck section. Oh, there's an LED in the bottom of the neck. Sorry, not in the bottom of the saucer. It's the bottom of the neck on the transporter emitter. So yeah, so I went to Evans Designs for that. They're my go-to place. It's so nice because I'm not doing an Arduino mega Bluetooth hyper wireless infrared. Todd's system is absolutely astonishing, but I don't want to do all that work purely out of this is good enough for me. He's also got sound effects. I mean, it is the ultimate build he's doing for the model remodel. He's also doing the bone stock build as well. But I'm going to do a little bit of that. So I got some 1mm fiber optic, also available from Evans Designs. Very nice people. They answered an email I sent them. Because honestly, when this first came, it was warm white, 24-inch leads, like I asked, but there was only 5. It was a small mistake on their part. They answered their customer service email at like after 10 o'clock at night on a weekday. I was just like, I sent this expecting a response sometime tomorrow. Thank you. And they got it out in the mail lickety-split. Otherwise, I've never had an issue with an order from them. And when you do, they jump to fix it. So what we broke out was our very inexpensive set of Mr. Hobby, Mr. Pin Vise basic set that I got. So if you don't have a pin vise, this is a nice little set to get. It's got a 1mm, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. Should cover most of your needs. 0.5 millimeter for some of the smaller fiber optics for like the Shuttle Titanium's cockpit. But for the Enterprise, 1mm will do fine. And we drilled the 1mm hole right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to shove this 1mm fiber optic right through there. And I'm going to put a little dab of resin on the tip of this with a little white paint mixed in with it, just like my buddy Todd did, because I like that effect. And we're going to get this through there, and then we're going to UV resin glue one of these little blinky lights to the bottom of that piece of fiber optic and get this bolted down. I also have a 3D printed shuttle bay coming in from John Bassey, who is a miracle worker. He's done some amazing things for the deflector dish parts, and he also did a more screen accurate shuttle bay. So when that comes in, I'm actually going to paint that shuttle bay door the darker gray like the ones on the back of the next section, which is incorrect. They should all be hull gray, apparently. I like the contrast. I like to see, oh, that's the shuttle bay. There's a dark gray panel there. I like the contrast. It's just my personal preference. So that's coming in probably in about 7 or so, maybe more days. So I'm going to get this done. But then we've got a lot of stuff to do besides bolting this down. So I don't need to bolt this down right away. So let me get this little fiber optic. I'm going to get a little, get the tip dipped in some white paint UV resin mix and cure that. Get it in there, glue in one of these LEDs, test that out, then snip off the wire for it so that this is independent once again. And hopefully we'll get this bolted on when our shuttle bay door arrives, and we can replace this shuttle bay door, because once this is bolted down to the saucer, yeah, you can't get to these screws, or at least not easily, I don't think. So that's where we're at. I will be right back. Okay, well, there we go. Look at that. See that little guy? Right there. Look at that. It's like a little ball, okay? And we've got our little Evans Designs micro LED. We UV resin glued it to the end of the fiber optic tube, just like we did for our Shuttle Titanium cockpit little blinkies. So we got that, and it's not going to blink because the bulb is directly connected to my power supply at 2.9 volts, just to play it safe, because I did cut it off of the harness. Look at that. There we go. So imagine that blinking in unison with 6 others around the ship. That's going to look damn nice. That is going to look very nice. So there's our fiber optic tube coming out of the bottom there. There's our Evans Designs. You can see the little light coming out of the bottom of the heat shrink there. We'll put a little heat shrink tubing over it. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's a white LED in a ship that's entirely full of white LEDs. The heat shrink tubing is more there as stress relief than anything. I used thin hard and flex resin from SolarRes. So I used a little bit of this flex type here and there, because I find, and I've been told, well, I was told, and then I found it was true, that the flex type is a little stickier than the thin hard or the thick hard formulas of SolarRes, because their bonding adhesion is not fantastic. So either way, we got that done. Now what we've got to do is put a whole bunch of, we're going to put a whole bunch of phaser strips all the way around, well, most of our upper saucer, because I am still waiting on this, the 3D printed shuttle bay, the main shuttle bay door, before I bolt this down to the upper saucer. Then the upper saucer will be completed-ish. But yeah, we got like impulse engine to put in, and we got to do some work on that too, just to accurize it, you know, a little bit. I'm not going crazy. Again, I've explained it before, but I want it to be nice. So this is going to be more the low budget model remodel version of Todd's. Like the super low budget, like buying this and then the bare minimums to make it not look, you know, with the wrong blinking and stuff. That's what we're doing here. I'll be back. All right, and I'm back to being blinded in the eyes by my studio lights overhead to show you some stuff. Well, yeah, you can see, well, the saucer's not here right now. Let me pull that back into play. So we've got all of our phaser strips on. They all went down really easy, and they look really nice. And then we've got this part bolted in. The next step, and then we've got our little impulse engines in, okay? And they look pretty good, but they're very hot spotty on the inside, and there's really not a ton of light getting to the outside of them. So what I did is I figured I got some 2.7 millimeter blue cob LED strip for the deflector. I said, ooh, red. This will accept, if you basically glue these engines into place and we get rid of this little plastic reflector doohickey, or we butcher it up a little, we can get a little bit of red LED 2.7 millimeter strip inside these impulse engines and make them look magnifique. But I have to wait for that to come in. It would be a couple weeks from China, but my buddy Todd did have a few extra feet of it laying around, and he's sending me a foot of it out Monday, so I should have it by next weekend. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do for that. So that being said, I'm putting this aside for right now because we have to do some idealizing, that's the term I'm using, on our next section. Because I am doing the beacons, and if you remember, I didn't put down any of these screw covers anywhere because I said we may need to take this back apart again. And I was right, because I decided I'm going to put a beacon right here where it is on the foaming model. To do that, you have to drill 1 millimeter hole through your metal phaser plate here. Transporter emitter section. Someone's going to get me. And to do that, you could use a Dremel, or you can use a handy drill. But you can't use one of these things. These are just too wimpy. Now, I had a keyless chuck on my Dremel. Be very careful. This is a Dremel brand keyless chuck. And I chucked up one of these PCB drill bits, and I completely chomped my transport emitter pad. Now, that would be a very expensive mistake if I didn't already have a second set of that stage laying around. Thank God I did. I was like stage 43 or 42 or something like that. And what I did was I carefully marked on the fourth strip up, the fourth little lump line up on this part with a very fine tip black permanent marker. This happens to be a Gundam marker. And then I covered it with a piece of masking tape. Well, actually, before I covered it with the masking tape, I then took one of my needle files and I used it as a punch. And I put the tip of the needle file right on the little black dot. I gave a little whack-a-doodle with the hammer to give something the drill bit to start into. And then I chucked up a PCB drill bit in here, and it was in the Dremel, and it was a mess. So then I went to the handy drill. Worked perfectly. I'm going to order the manual chuck. You know, the manual chucks for this. I'm going to order a whole set. I'm not using that stupid universal keyless chuck anymore. It's hot garbage, and it's the actual Dremel branded one. And really, all of those on Amazon, I get complaints for run out all the time. So I drilled through this, and then I put it down in place, and I drilled through again, and I have a tiny little hole showing there. And now what I need to do is take off these two panels and these two panels, and then we can start modifying one of these two with our piece of fiber optic 1 millimeter and one of our itty-bitty little nano LEDs from Evans Designs off of our blinker set. And yeah, we'll strip the wire with this. This is my new Knipix super duper little baby wire stripper. It goes really small gauge, down to 36. It's great for scraping the enamel coating off this wrapping wire. Not that you really need to. Usually you could burn right through it with the soldering iron when you're soldering it. But yeah, it's in my Amazon store. It's stupid expensive though. I think I bought it because my buddy has it, and sometimes I'm like, hey, Todd has one, I want one. It was like 50 bucks almost, or around. Yeah, I can't necessarily recommend it. These cheapos will go up to 32 gauge, and they're just fine. for most things. Either way, I'm going to get this taken apart, and I'll be right back. Welcome back to the, barely slightly cleaner workbench. Okay, here we go. I tried to put some electrical tape on these clamps to protect the paint finish, and it seems to have accomplished the task, even though the electrical tape started squirting out. And, yeah, you know, got a little scuff down there. Since everything fits so well, this was still a little gappy. So what I did is I ran a little bead of crazy glue, or CA glue, let's just say CA glue, it's not crazy glue brand, in there, just clamped it shut so it's perfectly sealed now. Take this piece out before you do that, just in case you don't want to glue this in permanently. We need to run wires through here later on from our saucer. And then we've got our now 2 leads coming out of the neck, and if we contact, we got our nice little beacon there. This was a little tricky to get in. It required a tiny bit of crazy glue on a toothpick under there to like really squeeze it down properly. But there we go. It's looking good. This is not coming apart anytime soon. So I'm gonna put all these fillers in. I might as well. I got spares anyway if I mess up. But I'm gonna put all the fillers in, and that's that. I think that's it for this episode. I am waiting on my John Bassie designed main shuttle bay for back here that comes out a little further and lands properly near the logo at the rear of the saucer. And so I'm waiting on that. I still technically have 2 stages here left over from issue 15, 57 and 58. Got a whole nother circuit board to put in, but we can't put that in until this fellow is bolted down onto the upper saucer. Then we got a few inner workings for the nacelle, which the nacelles, I'm going to give the nacelles like their own episode in this build series. A couple pieces of lower frame, exciting. Lower frame is going to start going on, but consider these already installed because they'll be, by the time you come back, they'll be on. That's it for now. Again, please click the links to Fanhome below. I am paying for this build, FYI, dearly. This is not something they sent me for free, but I was happy to put their links in my video because I like the fellas over at Fanhome. Nice people. And my Amazon link is below. These tools, listen, it's expensive, but I like it, and it works really well. And Todd McWilliams, Mr. McFamous of the Partworks websites, mypartworks.com, he uses this, and I said, Todd, what is that thing you're using? And I had to get it, and it's worth every penny. It's pretty awesome. So either way, thanks for coming. We'll see you next time on Pit Stain Hobbies. Adios, everybody.